everything has gone wrong.
Right.
Like, I've had no water.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, I'm good.
Right.
I've had mice,
Confidence.
I've had rodents, I've had spiders, I've had everything go wrong. I'm good.
Good.
We're fine. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Quarter Life Crisis Project. I'm joined once again by Mitch Frye of Mitch Frye Realty, and we're continuing to talk about homeownership. Last week we talked about how to evaluate whether buying a home is a good fit for you, and I'll put a link to that video in the description below. Today we're going to talk about, you've decided to buy a home, that's great. What comes next? I'll give you hints, a lot of paperwork. But it's fun paperwork, it's good paperwork.
Right.
And I know from experience, right, when I purchased my home, I really know where to start. I thought really carefully about it. I knew I was ready from a financial perspective and from a personal perspective, like we talked about last week, but I wasn't really sure like how I get this ball rolling and what can I expect. And so today we're going to talk through kind of what the process looks like at a high level, from getting pre-approved for a loan all the way through to move-in day. So Mitch, when someone does their homework and thinks, all right, I'm ready to purchase a home, it's the right choice for me, what is the very, very, very first thing they should do?
Very first thing is get that pre-approval. I know it's a team standard on my team that we don't even show houses to people who are not pre-approved because they don't know what you can buy, and you don't know what you can buy. So you could be falling in love with a house that's way above your price range, or you'd be looking at houses that are way below, and you think they all are crappy. So first thing to do is get pre-approved. It's real simple these days. Some people, you can just do it from your phone online, and it's quick. That's definitely the first way to go.
And so when we say pre-approval, just basically the bank or the loan officer, whomever, basically giving that like preliminary,
Yeah, they look at your pay stubs.
They're willing to, on a preliminary basis, without doing, they do more due diligence later, but they're saying tentatively we're willing to lend you X amount.
Right.
And that helps you get your budget. And you can also, as we talked about in the last video, talk to a few different people, get a good relationship with a lender. I know one thing that I was nervous about that I learned, correct me if I'm wrong, but every time you get someone looks at your credit, it's like a knock on your credit,
right?
Like who's an inquiry. And I was worried about getting too many people to look at it because it was gonna, it's gonna keep knocking my score down. I'm pretty sure if it happens within a window,
right,
like 45 days,
something like
maybe,
that, yes.
It only counts as one inquiry. So you're okay to get, 3 or 4 people to give you a pre-approval because it's only going to count as one investigation, so you'll be okay.
Yeah, I have to talk to a banker at a major bank about this exact thing so I could get clarity. When, say for example, you're buying a car, they expect you to go to a bank, get a loan, buy a car that day. With a house, they expect you to do a little bit more due diligence, as you say, and get multiple inquiries on it so you can get as many as you want, and it counts as one hit, like you said. So a banker told me, certified.
And sometimes, and with that approval, sometimes they also give you a letter.
Right.
Can you talk about what that letter is and why that's important?
The letter says that so-and-so, Ryan, has been checked, his credit's been pulled, his income has been verified, and based on that, he is approved for X amount. What that is, you'll give it to a real estate agent, and they'll present that with an offer showing that you're a serious buyer. Every offer I submit, I require it because it's, I hate to say it, but a waste of time without it, because as soon as you submit it, the question is, do they have money? So that's by far the number one thing to do, and it's required for even an offer. So before you even get a house, that's the number one thing you do.
A little bit extra leverage,
yes,
for sure. So I know another thing to think about is, with getting approved for a mortgage, right? There's so many different types, right?
Yes.
And it's like, what are these?
Right.
Can you at a high level kind of rattle off sort of what the different mortgage types are and who it makes the most sense for each one?
So I'll start off with an FHA loan. That's a Federal Housing Authority loan. So it's a government loan. That is usually your lowest down payment possible. It's about 3 to 3.5%. It's a very strict loan. Once you start getting into appraisals, it's a government appraiser that comes out, and they look for reasons not to give you money, so I gotta say it, because it's the government and they try to hoard all they can. As far as appraisals, most of them have conditions that the seller has to meet before they can lend the buyer money. So it makes the seller work a little harder. And especially in this market, the sellers don't want to work any harder than they have to because they don't have to. The next negative thing, I guess, about an FHA loan is that the appraisal will stick with a property. So say you look at a house, get the appraisal on it, and for any reason you walk away, the next person that comes to that house with the FHA loan, they have to stay with that previous appraisal no matter what happens to the house. So the owner could go in and make upgrades in between people, and if it's in a 6-month period, they have to take that original appraisal. So from the sell side, when an FHA loan comes across the table, they try to stay away from it, but depends on the house, depends on the market, depends on the sellers. It's not a death wish by any means. It is the easiest one to get because it's the lowest down payment, so you have the least amount of money to do that. The next one is a conventional loan. Conventional is great. That's from the bank. It's not government. I say banks look for reasons to give you money so you can pay them interest, and the government looks for reasons not to give you money. Conventional could be anywhere from a 3% down payment to a 20% down payment. So you have a lot of range there. Of course, the more you put down, the more attractive it is to a seller because that shows that you have more money and you're more serious. But conventional, the appraisals don't stick. They're less strenuous. So, like I said, they look for reasons to give you money. And that's by far the favored loan to get, at least from the sell side. So if you come to the table with a conventional offer, they're most likely going to look at that a little bit better than an FHA loan. Other than that, mostly it's just, you talk about USDA loans. Those are mostly rural loans, so a lot of places where we live won't even accept it. That's a 0% down payment program. So it's mostly for people buying farms. Mm-hmm. That's what you look for USDA for. And finally, there's VA loans, and of course, that's a veterans loan. It's a 0% down payment, but what that does is that it charges a funding fee, which kind of makes up for that 0% down payment. Okay. And I know for a fact I work with quite a few veterans, and they think they're going to go the VA route, and they end up seeing they can go conventional, and it saves them money at the end.
There you go.
Yeah.
So you've done it, right? You've pre-approved with whatever type of mortgage makes the most sense for you. You've got your letter in your hand that says you can buy this house. What do you do now? What's the next piece?
Find your real estate agent.
Right.
We are experts, believe it or not. Some of us might not seem like it, but I know in North Carolina it's tough to get a real estate license. There's a whole 75-hour pre-licensing class, 90 hours once you get your license, and about 6 exams in between. So it's a process to get it, and we have a 13-page contract that we have to know inside out, upside down, left and right. So we are your local experts. It's good to kind of vet a couple. Like I tell you with mortgage companies, you need to find the right fit for you. Just because somebody's first doesn't mean they're best. Just because somebody sells 2,000 houses a year doesn't mean they're best.
Right.
There's a lot of ways people can kind of skew numbers to make themselves look better. But find somebody you trust and gel with. It's as easy as that, because that's the only person you're going to rely on.
Yeah,
holding your hand through this period. So, and try to find somebody that's going to keep in contact after.
Mm-hmm. Like maybe they'll come to your house and do a video with you or something.
Yes, maybe that. But it's the home buying process is before, during, and after. That's the way at least I see it. Yeah. Because you never know what's going to come up, and we sell 100 houses a year, and you do it 2 or 3 times a lifetime. So it's something we're very comfortable with, and we kind of have seen it all, especially in a place where people can collaborate. At least real estate agents, they collaborate together and tell stories, horror stories mostly, but to be able to just, hey, I had mice in my attic, what do I do? Well, I have a guy. So next step is definitely find yourself a real estate agent. You're going to have a consult with them, and what that consult is just, first of all, they're vetting you as you vet them, because this is a collaboration. Yeah. So if you don't work well with them and they don't work well with you, nobody's going to be happy at the end. So it's better to just cut that off before it even starts, because then you're going to have a negative mindset on even the whole process as a whole. But the consult, you'll go in and kind of tell your real estate agents what you're looking for in a home, how many bedrooms, bathrooms, blah, 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 and they'll kind of narrow your search down for you. I know in our MLS, or multiple listing service alone, so our area, there's about 6,000 active houses, and any of those houses meet your needs, so we can take 6,000 down to hopefully 3.
Yeah. That's
Or
a big
more.
piece of it. Yeah.
Yes.
And let's talk about that a little bit too, because what are you've got your agent, you've got your loan. You're trying to find a house now, right? I'm sure you have an idea of what you're looking for, and you talk about that with your realtor in the consult. But what are some things to think about when you're looking through homes? I mean, I know, like, for example, the things that come to mind for me are like the neighborhood, right? And you've got property values in that neighborhood, or the school district you're going to be in, things of that nature. What are some things to think about when you're walking through a home and you want to make sure it's the right fit?
Well, number one, I'll go into a little fair housing quip here. A real estate agent's not allowed to tell you if a neighborhood is safe, what their opinions are. All we can tell you is facts. Like, that is a house, 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, and a wood floor. And start going into more personal things about a home, we can't really get into that. So when finding your home, I say pick 5 things that you must have in a home. You must have an open concept. You must have a big kitchen. You must have a master bedroom on the main level, stuff like that. And as you see homes, you kind of rank them. How many stars did they hit? Is it 5 out of 5, 4 out of 5, 3 out of 5, 1 out of 5? I also have ABCs. The A showing is we're going to step out this house right now. I'm going to write you an offer. We're done. This is the house. The B's, we'll talk about it later. And the C is let's not talk about that again. And especially in a market where buyers, I had somebody call me yesterday and said that they were showing their buyers house number 91, 92, and 93. They've seen 93 houses. So how are you going to keep that straight? Yeah. I implement Chip and Joanna type thing where I name houses. So that's the farmhouse, that's the big tree house. So things like that to help you remember. But stick to your guns with the 5 things. This is a big investment, and anybody who tries to pressure you into buying a home isn't on your side. Now, I'm just personally, I'm okay to show you 100 houses till you find the house, because buyer's remorse is real, and buyer's remorse on a $100,000 purchase is way more than the pair of shoes you bought.
You really want to be sure. I mean, because sometimes, especially too, like, I know we had an experience where there was one house that I was like down for, and then there was one we got where the guy was still there. Remember that?
Oh yes.
And I was like, this is it, this is the one. And then I got there and it was like, it's okay. Yeah.
Pictures are deceiving.
Yes.
I'm getting that a lot. The pictures you see online are very, very deceiving. They're professionals that we get to take pictures of houses for a reason. For that reason right there, I love this house. And then you step in, you make sure the pictures match reality.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a perfectly nice man. I didn't want to buy his house though. But when you do find that one, right, you find what you're looking for, right?
Right.
Time to make an offer, right?
Yes.
So what are kind of the series of events at a high level, what happens there, right? You're signing your offer, and then there's a whole lot of stuff that goes on.
Well,
so what's the rundown?
Your agent should be in contact with your lender at this point, seeing what is the best scenario for you when it comes to closing costs, which is those origination fees, kind of what we talked about in the last video. How much you need to pay, how much you can ask the seller to pay, and how much upfront money you can put down without messing up your financing. So the first hurdle to get over is how much due diligence earnest money you're going to put down. We also have to see how active the property is. If it's had 1,000 showings and 50 offers, that's going to change how much money we put up front. As far as financing, you can't change that. You're approved for conventional, you're approved for FHA, that's it. The things you can change are your closing dates, the closing costs you ask for from the seller, maybe none in this market because you want to be competitive, and then upfront money you put down, so that earnest money and due diligence. So it's a practice, not a science when it comes to that. It's kind of just saying, do you feel comfortable putting down $2,000 up front, $3,000, $4,000? How much do you feel comfortable with? And how much do you love this house? If it's a house that you kind of, I can see myself living here for a couple of years and then trying to resell, I wouldn't suggest putting a lot down. If it's a house where you see a lot of potential problems coming up, if you think there's a roof problem or a foundation problem, we're not putting a lot of due diligence money down because you don't get that back.
Right.
That's lost. So if you're not confident, 100% confident in how the house is, you put less money there. If you're 100% confident, you put more money. So it's kind of just a conversation and a ebb and flow with it. And that's all part of a contract that your real estate agent will write for you.
Right. And then, of course, you have your inspection.
Yes.
And things of that nature, right? So you have someone come through.
So financing wise, there's 2 humps. The first comp is your appraisal. You got to make sure the bank's going to give you money for the house. If, say, we'll make it easy math because I don't believe in it. If your house is $100,000 and that's how much you're under contract for, and the appraisal comes back that the house is worth 80, you have a problem. The bank's only going to give you $80,000. You're under a legal contract saying you're going to pay them $100,000. What do? You try to negotiate with the seller to get it brought down any. You try to make up anything you can, or you walk away from it. So if you get past the appraisal, if you get appraised for $100,000, you're golden. They're giving you the money. The next thing you got to worry about is the home inspection. Home inspectors, I find, the way they stay in business is finding things wrong with houses, which is another good reason to have a real estate agent who has seen things. I had a house that had 55 points on an inspection, so I'm fairly comfortable I can find anything and everything wrong with the house at this point, and being able to tell you how important these specific things are. There's a crack in your sidewalk. Do you know how big the crack has to be before you have to worry about it? Right. Sometimes you just have settling cracks and there's no worries, but the home inspector has to note that. So some people can see that and go, oh.
Our report was like, I remember he was like, there's a nail that's not all the way in, and I was like, is that bad?
Right. Answer no, because you could just take a hammer and pop in there and it's all the way in. But if you have something like, oh, you have mold in your walls, I think anybody knows that's bad, but it's good to have somebody to calm you down, because that first inspection report can be scary, because they, like I said, they find things that you'll never ever see in your life or really ever notice will be noted. And it's good to have somebody say that is okay and it's not important.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. And then you're moving in.
Yes.
Then we're moving in. So it happens so quickly. There's so many different pieces to think through, but I will of course reference Mitch and his team. It's a great resource to help you feel more prepared as you go through the process. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Let us know if you have any questions, and we'll be happy to field them. But best of luck in your searches.
You can do it.
You can do it, and you're gonna find a great place. Until next time.